Hey, what's up, YouTube? This is Sports Fan Network, and I'm Travis.
And I'm Andrew.
And today, for our video, we have our Week 4 NFL previews, where we will discuss every matchup this week, make a point of what we're looking forward to watching each matchup, and then predict who we think is going to win. So in this first matchup, we're going to start with the best rivalry in football, a Thursday night game, the Green Bay Packers versus Chicago Bears. Andrew, what are you looking for in this game?
Yeah, what better show to kind of start off talking about Thursday night games than Bears versus Packers, the best rivalry in football, like we said. No disrespect to all of you other sports fans out there that might want to have other rivalries, but for us, this is the best rivalry in sports. Bears-Packers is the most anticipated game for us for this week. And for me, this game really starts in the trenches on both sides. The Packers, they have kind of some injury problems on the offensive line this year, and they're going up against a very good front seven in the Bears. So that'll be something to look out for, whether the Bears can kind of pressure Aaron Rodgers a bunch and whether the Packers will be able to run the ball at all. The Bears have been very stout against the run. On the other side, Bears offensive line is looking like it's starting to get healthy. Josh Sitton will be back this week, or at least he's questionable, but I'm assuming he will be back this week. They have Kyle Long back, and they're going up against a front seven, the Packers, that has really struggled to stop the run this year. And if you guys haven't been paying attention at all, that's like the only thing the Bears can do on offense is run the ball. They had over 200 yards rushing last week. So for me, those are two things to really look out for in this one.
Yeah, for me, if those Green Bay Packers offensive tackles can't go for this game, it's going to be a huge blow to Green Bay, mainly because, like you said, Aaron Rodgers at times tends to hold onto the ball a little bit too long. He likes to scramble and create plays after the pocket's broken down. And just watching those guys last week, they looked absolutely horrible replacing two Pro Bowl talents. So if they don't have them, that's going to hurt. And then, one thing I'm going to be watching out for is, can the Bears continue to run the football with this much success? For me, logic would say, teams should be able to key into it and say, we can load the box with 9, even 10 guys and just trust our corners to go man coverage on the outside. But for the Packers, that they really haven't had solid corners. So you can't really put them out on an island by themselves, even with a weak Bears wide receiver corps. But for me, I'm going to have to go with Packers this one in Lambeau. I just don't believe Mike Glennon can come in and win the Bears a football game. And he's going up against Aaron Rodgers, so I'm going to have to go with Green Bay.
Yeah, I'm going to go the opposite here. I'm going to go with the Bears. You're going with logic here. Obviously, logic would tell you the Packers with Aaron Rodgers at Lambeau Field. It makes a lot of sense. I have to go with my heart here. I got to go with the Bears in this one. There is some logic to it. Obviously, I feel like Vic Fangio, defensive coordinator for the Bears, he knows what he's doing against Aaron Rodgers. He's given him some trouble in the past. I think the Bears can get some matchup problems for the Packers offense there. Mike Glennon, all he has to do is not mess it up, which he did a lot of messing up last week against the Steelers, and the Bears still won in that one. So if they can get anything out of Mike Glennon in this one, that's a huge win for the Bears. But let's move on to our Sunday games. We're going to start with the Dolphins at the Saints. What are you looking forward to in this one?
For me, the biggest thing is, can the Dolphins offense bounce back versus a weak Saints defense? Last week I thought that the Dolphins should easily run away with the game against the Jets, and they just looked absolutely horrible. So I'm kind of looking to see if the offense can get back on track.
Yeah, speaking of offense, I'm looking for the Saints offense as well, as whether they can lead into a W here, because, the Dolphins have a pretty solid defense themselves. They're not a great defense by any means, but they have some pretty solid talent across the board. And, I think that Saints defense, what they did against the Panthers last week, I think it's a little bit of a fluke. I mean, obviously Cam Newton, that Panthers offense is struggling a lot. So for me, I think the Saints defense is still something to really look out for in this one because they're just not as good. So I'm really looking forward to whether the Saints offense can carry them to another victory here.
Yeah, I think the Saints offense can carry them to a victory because I just watched the Jets beat the Dolphins, and that Dolphins defense looked really bad against them. So for me, I'm going to have to go with the Saints in this matchup.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Dolphins in this one. I like them at home. I think they'll have a bounce-back week. Obviously, Adam Gase, the head coach for the Dolphins, he has a pretty tight-knit, hold over this team. I think he has a really good voice over this team. I think what they're going to do is just, forget about last week, kind of move on. And I think they have a lot more talent overall than the Saints do, even though the Saints have Drew Brees, who's playing at a very high level so far this year.
Yeah, moving on to the next matchup, we got the Buffalo Bills versus the Atlanta Falcons. One thing for me to watch this week is, can the Bills pull off 2 upset wins in a row Now, last week they came in as the underdog against the Broncos, and they were able to force a few big turnovers that, kept the Broncos off the board and kind of slowed down their offense a little bit. So that's one thing I'm looking forward to. What's one thing you're going to look forward to in this game?
Well, yeah, this is obviously an offenses versus great defense matchup here. The defense for the Bills has been very good throughout the beginning of the season. But let's not forget about the Falcons' defense, too. They have a really young, exciting, fast defense. And that could create some problems for this Bills team that's kind of one-dimensional right now with that running game with LaShawn McCoy and Tyrod Taylor, who has played very well so far this season so far. Obviously, I feel like the Falcons, though, they're just loaded in this one. I'm taking Atlanta.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm going to go with Atlanta on this one. I think the offense is just too stacked.
Yeah, well, moving on, let's go to the AFC North. The big rivalry in this one is Steelers at the Ravens. This is a huge game. Every single year, these games are one of the better games of the year. So what are you looking forward to see?
Man, this is going to be a physical smash-mouth football game. These two teams do not like each other. I think it's always close. It's one of the better rivalries in the NFL. One thing I'm going to be looking for personally is, can the Ravens offense rebound from a terrible Week 3 performance versus the Jags? They only ended up scoring one touchdown. Joe Flacco threw for 28 yards, which is absolutely terrible. So I think against the Steelers, I don't think this is a week that the Ravens offense is going to get back on track because these games are always really low-scoring games. But what's one thing you're looking for in this game?
Yeah, just sticking with the Ravens here, Joe Flacco might have had the worst quarterback performance I've ever seen last week against the Jacksonville Jaguars. So he can only go up from there. But I'm going to stick with the Steelers offense on this one. They just seem to they just haven't started to click yet this year. Usually one of their guys goes off for a big game, but they haven't really been able to put it all together. I'm not sure they can do that against the Ravens defense. That's very, very good. They had a really bad week last week against the Jaguars, but a lot of that was the fact that they're at London. They kind of had to adjust to that situation there. So going forward, I think they'll be fine in this one. For the Steelers, I mean, Antonio Brown's just been on another level so far this year. I mean, whatever offensive struggle they've had so far, he's been very consistent for them. I think he'll be consistent for them again. So to me, it comes down to whether they get the running game going with Le'Veon Bell and whether Ben Roethlisberger can kind of, get going a little bit here.
Yeah, for me, this game, it's really just a toss-up. I'm going to have to go with the home team, the Ravens, in this one. They'll have home field advantage. That usually helps, the team out. I think it'll be another close-scoring game again. It always is. Who do you have winning this game?
Yeah, I'm going to stay with the Ravens here. In a great defensive battle, which I think this will be. The Ravens just have better personnel for that. And Pittsburgh they just haven't really started clicking yet on offense. And they really struggle on the road, which is a big problem for me because they're going on the road, obviously, to Baltimore here. But staying in the AFC North, let's go to the Bengals at the Cleveland Browns here. What do you see here?
Well, one thing I'm looking out for is, can DeShone Kizer manage the ball better versus a pretty tough Bengals defense? The last two games, he's had 3 interceptions, one coming against the Colts that was extremely surprising since they have a terrible defense. But, this is another AFC North rivals. These two teams don't like each other. This is a really underrated Bengals defense. I think Kizer, he might struggle again, especially, he'll be at home, but I like the Bengals defense.
Yeah, Kaiser's had, obviously he's had some rookie mistakes. He's been thrown to the fire. He's played well at times, but he's obviously shown that, he is a rookie. He's going to make some mistakes. And, sticking with the Bengals offense here, can they continue to improve in this one? That's something I'm looking forward to. They had a pretty solid week against the Packers last week. Obviously, they weren't able to make enough plays late in the game to kind of get that win for them. But they showed some progress against the Packers last week, and it'll be interesting to see if they can keep that going against the Browns defense that is young, it's hungry, and I think they're a lot better than a lot of people want to give them credit for. But for me, I'm going to take the Browns in this one at home. I think Kaiser's going to take care of the ball a little bit better in this one. And I still don't trust that Bengals offense quite yet.
Yeah, for me, I'm going to have to go with the road team on this one. Like you said, the Bengals looked better, but they didn't make enough plays down the stretch. I think they are going to make those plays, and I think that Bengals defense is really going to cause Kizer a lot of problems. I think they're going to force a lot of turnovers, which is going to kill the Browns' drives. I think the Bengals come out with a close one here in this game. But moving on to the next matchup, we got the LA Rams versus Dallas. Andrew, what's one thing you're looking forward to in this game?
Well, I'm going to go with the battle in the trenches here with this one, going up with Dallas's great offensive line that, might be the best in football with Ezekiel Elliott running the ball behind them versus Aaron Donald, maybe the best interior defensive lineman in the league, and that really good Rams front seven. It'll be very interesting to watch. Cowboys, obviously, they want to run the football a lot. And we know Wade Phillips, he's going to try and stack the box and blitz a lot and really create a lot of pressure both for the running game and the passing game on that Cowboys offensive line. So that's something I'm looking forward to in this one.
Yeah, for me, one thing I'm looking forward to is can the Rams offense keep them in the game? This Rams offense looks completely new this year. Last year they had such a hard time scoring the ball, and Jared Goff and Todd Gurley have looked really good so far. I think they're going to have to play really good to keep them in the game this time because the Cowboys are going to chew the clock. They're going to control the ball. So they're going to have to score if they're going to want to win this game. For me, ultimately, though, I'm going to have to go with Dallas on this game. I think that offensive line and Zeke, they're going to be able to control the game. They're playing at home, and I think Dallas is going to take this one.
Yeah, this is actually a very intriguing game for me this week. I think it's going to be quite a bit of a shootout in this one. I think the Rams, I don't think it's a fluke what they've been doing on offense early on in the season. I think their offense is pretty legit. Jared Goff does look pretty good. But like you said, it's at home for the Cowboys, so I'm going to take the Cowboys in this one. I just think they'll be able to get back on track here at their offense. They kind of struggled a little bit to get going early on this year, but I think they'll get it together in this one. But, kind of moving on from there, let's go to another game here that's kind of interesting here. Titans at Houston Texans here. It's very interesting for me because the Titans, they have a really good running game, but Texans, their strength of their defense is their front seven led by J.J. Watt and Jadeveon Clowney, who both are playing very well this year so far.
Yeah, this is one of the better matchups of the week as two strengths are going to be going at it for the Titans and the Texans. This one, it's the AFC South showdown. Now, they're going to be playing in Houston. They haven't won a game in Houston yet. So, for me, I'm going to have to go with the Texans on this one. I usually go for the home team. And they haven't really had that great of a start to the season. So, they kind of need this win right here.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Titans on this one. I just like Marcus Mariota. He's starting to play very well as a quarterback so far. I like a little bit more than Deshaun Watson right now. Even though Watson's played very well for a rookie so far, I just trust Marcus Mariota a little bit more with that running game. I think they get enough traction on that great front seven for the Texans. I remember Seattle's got a great defense too, and the Titans played pretty well against them last week as well.
Yeah, moving on to the next matchup, we got the Lions at the Vikings. One thing for me that I'm watching out for is Sam Bradford even going to play? I know last week I didn't think the Vikings offense was going to do much, and Casey Keenum completely proved me wrong. He threw for like 340 yards, just totally killed it. So I think for this week, they're going up against an NFC North rival. I think a big thing will be if Sam Bradford can play, I have the Vikings winning, but if he's not going to play, I think the Lions are going to win this one.